What's up, guys? Welcome to Touchdown Talk, your podcast where everything and anything football goes. I'm your host, Jason. And today we have another weekend review episode where I will be recapping all the news from last Sunday all the way up to Friday night where I'm recording this video. I know it's been a little late upload. I know this is coming out on Sunday. Usually it is up on Saturday, but a little delay in the process. So this video will be up Sunday afternoon. Now let's get started on Monday because Sunday no news really broke. So we're going to get started on Monday morning where we had the news that James Bradberry was released by the New York Giants. Now Bradberry released because of cap issues and the Giants had to release him. They needed the cap money. They have to sign their rookies. They need the money that's going to be able to be spread out among other contracts. And James Bradberry just wasn't going to be a part of the team anymore. So now James Bradberry being a free agent, I know that he was linked to a couple teams. He was linked to the Eagles. He was linked to a few other teams. But the Eagles, there were reports that they would be in on James Bradberry. I know I talked about that in my previous video. So James Bradberry, now that he is released, if the Eagles do sign him, then he would play the Giants twice a year. And then the Giants would have to face him. And then James Bradberry knows how the Giants run their defense. So now they did have a couple coaching changes, but James Bradberry will still be able to give intel on what the Giants do. Now after that, Jeremy Fowler reported that the Tennessee Titans were not comfortable with paying A.J. Brown. And this comes after the fact that he was traded. So now the news came out that they weren't comfortable paying him. I know that he got $25 million with the Eagles per year. So obviously the Titans, I think they offered him, if I do remember, I think the deal was $20 million a year if they offered him that. But A.J. Brown obviously was going to get more. The team reportedly told him that he can get more somewhere else. So A.J. Brown was traded, and now the news coming out that the Titans were not comfortable with paying him. That reported by Jeremy Fowler. Now after that, Jeremy Fowler also reported that the Cowboys were interested in Jason Pierre-Paul before drafting Sam Williams. Now this is big news because JPP was a part of that Tampa Bay Bucs Super Bowl team, a part of that Tampa Bay Bucs Super Bowl run with Tom Brady. So Dallas being interested in him, maybe trading a couple of picks to move out of the second round where they drafted Sam Williams and then signed JPP. It could have been a good signing for the Cowboys, but all in all, now they get a rookie who they're going to get on a 4-year deal practically, and then they're going to have him on a cheap deal and not have to worry about paying a veteran like JPP a lot of money. Now, Mike Garafolo reported that Kayvon Thibodeau paid Graham Gano $50,000 for his number 5 jersey, and then that money will now go to charity. So a good move between teammates, great sportsmanship, great teamwork between Graham Gano giving his jersey number to Kayvon Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau wore number 5 in his college career, so now he gets to wear it in his NFL career. Graham Gano is a kicker, so obviously not a big deal to Graham Gano. I don't know if there's a sentimental value between the number 5 for either guys, but the money is going to charity. It's a great move to start a friendship with the team and with teammates. So Graham Gano giving him the number 5, it's obviously going to build a bond between them now that he gave him his jersey, so he knows that the team is welcoming him, the team wants him there, and Kayvon Thibodeau obviously wants to be there. Now, we also had some news that Richard Sherman is in talks with Amazon for programming. Now, Richard Sherman obviously has been in the NFL for quite some time. We all know him from Seattle, but he did play with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, so he did deal with some injuries. But now if Richard Sherman does decide to go into the programming world, the Amazon Prime world, where I'm assuming he would call Thursday Night Football, since that's what Amazon is doing. They're doing Thursday Night Football exclusively on Amazon Prime. So I would assume that he would have to do something with Thursday Night Football, which, I mean, it's a good move for Sherman. I mean, he's been in the NFL for quite some time. He's been a character in the NFL. If you're a Seahawks fan, then you loved him. Maybe if you're a Buck fan, you love him. But, you know, a lot of fans hate him because of how he played the game when he was in Seattle. But he is that trash-talking guy, and his play backed it up. Just like Jalen Ramsey now, where Jalen Ramsey is one of the biggest NFL trash talkers. but he backs it up with his game, being one of the best, if not the best, corner in the NFL. But let's move on to some rookie signings. Let's start with Detroit signing Aiden Hutchinson to a $35 million deal, including a $23 million signing bonus. Now, this reported by Tom Pelissero. So, as we talked about, you get the deal done with your rookie. You don't have to worry about it. It's done. You pay him, and then the contract is out of the way. This is the time period before the camps start where you want to get the deals done so there's no issues within the media that a rookie's not agreeing to his deal. So it's good for Aiden Hutchinson, the number 2 overall pick, to get his deal done with Detroit. I think a lot of these guys are going to get a deal done early. They don't want this to loom, especially when they're at training camp, when they're with their teammates. They don't want this to be an issue within the locker room. Now, Miami, they've been a big team this offseason, signing and trading for Tyreek Hill. They've signed a bunch of guys. They really brought in a lot of speed, especially with Tyreek Hill. And now they signed running back Sony Michel to a 1-year deal. This reported by Josina Anderson. Then the Las Vegas Raiders signed linebacker Kenny Young. The team announced this on Monday. And then the Tennessee Titans signed cornerback Greg Maben. The team also announced that on Monday. So a lot of news on Monday. More of some minor things, just clearing some things up. A couple signings there. But nothing too big on Monday, aside from the release of James Bradbury. But moving on to Tuesday, where we had some big news in the morning that the Denver Broncos are expected to sell for more than $5 billion. This reported by Mike Florio. I mean, Denver Broncos, they're a really well-known franchise. They've had quarterbacks like John Elway, Peyton Manning, and now Russell Wilson. So they're really going from one guy to another there. I know John Elway's in the management now. Peyton's getting within the Broncos organization. So now with Russell Wilson at quarterback, the Broncos are a well-known franchise overall. They were just in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. And now they're more of a live team with Russell Wilson. They're going to be more watched, a lot more views when their games are on. More teams are going to want to watch them. More fans are going to come. And the Broncos, they have a lot of fans. And now with the addition of Russell Wilson, there's definitely going to be a lot more views when the Broncos games are on TV. Now, another signing that we had on Tuesday was the Indianapolis Colts signed offensive lineman Dennis Kelly. This is a good signing for the Colts. They're adding to their offensive line. They're going to protect Matt Ryan. They have a good O-line already, but a couple injuries and COVID issues within last season, so now they're going to add some depth with Dennis Kelly. Moving on to more news, Sauce Gardner will wear number 1 for the New York Jets. There was a photo that was released that he will wear number 1. So that's good for him. He gets his number. He gets that out of the way. He knows what number he's going to wear. All the rookies are now getting fitted. They're getting their contracts done. So Sauce Gardner wearing number 1 for the New York Jets. Now, breaking news that we had on Tuesday was that Tom Brady was signed to be a lead analyst with Fox. Later in the week, we found out his contract details, where he was getting a ton of money to move to Fox. Now, Brady moving to Fox as a lead analyst, he is going to do this when he retires and when he leaves the game. So, Tom Brady now leaving the NFL when he does, going into Fox. He has a position there for him, and he's going to be a lead analyst for Fox. Now, we don't know what his position exactly is going to be, if he's going to replace somebody, if he's just going to be added on to the crew because of the crew that they have on Fox every Sunday. But Tom Brady obviously maybe might retire next season now that he has this deal in place. But the deal is in place for when he leaves football. Now, Tom Brady's never going to leave football, it looks like. But when he does retire from playing, he will continue to be in the NFL as a lead analyst for Fox. Now, Tom Brady, we don't know when he's going to retire. We know he retired this offseason, then unretired, now he's back. So maybe with him striking this new deal, maybe this just pushes his retirement to 1 more year, and then he retires, signs his deal, and just heads off to Fox. Doesn't have to play in the NFL no more. But with Tom Brady, he could play another 5 years if he really wanted to. Another rookie that signed his deal was Ikem Okongwu and the Carolina Panthers. They agreed to a 4-year deal worth $27 million with a $17 million sign-on bonus, fully guaranteed, with a club option for a 5th year. Now, this reported by Ian Rappaport. Same thing as Aiden Hutchinson. Our rookie's getting his deal done. I know we're going to be talking about this, but it's just something that happens during this time in the offseason where it's quiet right now after free agency, after the draft, before training camp. It's kind of a quiet time, and now the rookies are just going to start getting adjusted to the team, meet the teammates, get their new numbers, get their contracts done, and really join their team 100% leading up to the upcoming season. Now, another signing we did have was the Chiefs re-signed their center, Austin Reiter. Now, they released him earlier in the free agency, earlier in the offseason, but now he is back with the team. Some more news that we did have on Tuesday was news dating back a couple of months to where Josh Lambo was reported that he was kicked by Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer said some things to him on the practice field when he was kicking. He allegedly kicked Josh Lambo. That's the news that came out a while ago. And now Josh Lambo has filed a lawsuit against the Jacksonville Jaguars seeking his $3 to $5 million salary for 2021, in addition to damages for emotional distress. This reported by Rick Stroud. Now, Josh Lambo, we know what came out. He was allegedly kicked by Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer allegedly called him a few choice words on the practice field when he was kicking and doing what he was doing. So now he is suing the Jaguars for not only his salary but emotional distress on top of it. Now, the Jaguars are going to have to pay him if he does win the lawsuit, which I think he probably will. We know what Urban Meyer did, so I don't think there's really denying it within the organization. Now, the Jaguars are just going to have to get this out of the way. They don't want more issues coming out. They moved on from Urban Meyer. They fired him. He's gone. They don't want these issues to loom on the team, especially with Urban Meyer out of the picture. So these are the things that they're going to have to get done and get out of the way now so they don't have any issues within the upcoming season because of Urban Meyer, who hasn't been with the team since he was fired. And then we ended Tuesday with the Houston Texans signing defensive end Jerry Hughes, big defensive playmaker for the Buffalo Bills for the past couple of years, now moving on to Houston. He's going to fit that team well. He's going to bring a veteran presence for that young team. Houston's still trying to figure out who they are. They're still trying to get their identity. So Jerry Hughes is going to help them do that by bringing in his veteran presence. Then we're going to move on to Wednesday. So on Wednesday, we had a couple signings, and they're coming from Chicago. We know that Chicago is trying to help Justin Fields out. So the Bears did sign wide receiver Tajae Sharpe. This reported by Ian Rappaport. Tajae Sharpe is not a phenomenal receiver. He's more of a low-end guy. He's more of a depth guy who you can throw out there if you have an injury to your guys. But aside from Darnell Mooney, Chicago is really low at the receiver position. They let Allen Robinson hit free agency. He's on the Rams now. And with them saying that they're helping Justin Fields, it doesn't look like it because they don't have a true number one receiver. Darnell Mooney might be able to get there eventually. I do like the upside with Mooney and Fields, but bringing in guys like Tajae Sharpe, and then they signed a quarterback, Nathan Peterman, that reported by Tom Pelissero. Don't know how that helps Fields at all. That's just a third-string quarterback at this point, and a low-end receiver who isn't going to see the field much, especially with the way Chicago plays. I don't know how much time Sharpe's going to be on the field or the other receivers that they have there aside from Mooney. I think Mooney's their clear-cut number one receiver on the team. But aside from him, they're going to need to bring in some help. We know how many receivers were traded this offseason. Chicago don't think was in any talks with any of those receivers. They didn't draft a high-end receiver. So Chicago is very interesting leading up to the year, especially with Justin Fields going into his sophomore year. after having difficulties in his rookie year with injuries, with Andy Dalton at quarterback. Nick Foles played quarterback for a couple of games for them while Fields was injured. And then now going into his second year, he's going to need to really play well and show Chicago fans what he is able to do. And Chicago's going to have to help him eventually. They're going to have to get him a wide receiver. They're going to have to help him in some capacity if they want to get to his full potential. Now, more news. We had the Saints release running back Josh Adams. This reported by Mike Garafolo. Josh Adams really is going between teams. He was with the Jets for a short time. He was with the Eagles for a short time, the Saints for a short time. Now he's a free agent. He's going to be a depth guy, probably get signed if there's an injury within a running back room that they're really low on running backs, so they just bring in a guy like Josh Adams to just fill in a role while their running back, comes back from his injury if he can come back that season. And then the Raiders signed wide receiver Keelan Cole. This reported by Adam Schefter. So Keelan Cole, a good signing for the Raiders. We know that they've had their problems with wide receivers. But if you look at their team right now, Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, a stud-filled offense for the Raiders. It's going to depend on if Derek Carr can play up to the potential as the other AFC West quarterbacks, especially with how good Mahomes, Herbert, and Russell Wilson are. Then on Thursday, we had Trayvon Walker, and the Jags agreed to his rookie deal. Now Walker gets $37.4 million with a $24 million signing bonus, and this reported by Ian Rappaport and Mike Garafolo. So there's the same thing, more rookie deals. They're going to be getting done within the upcoming days, weeks, leading up to training camp, and especially before the NFL season. Now the breaking news that we had on Thursday was that Jerry Jeudy was arrested. Now, the Arapahoe Sheriff Department said that Jerry Jeudy was being held at the jail on charges of second-degree criminal tampering with a domestic violence enhancer, a misdemeanor, and he is on a no-bond hold. He's innocent until proven guilty. That reported by the Arapahoe police station. Now, we found out later in the week that Jerry Jeudy was released, but he was arrested on Thursday. I believe he was released on Friday. If I'm correct today, I believe he was released, but that's still some big news. Jerry Jeudy, don't really know all the information on it. I think that his girlfriend said that she was just worried, but I'm not too sure on the details. But all I know is Jerry Jeudy was arrested, and I believe he was released. Then going back to Thursday, the Cleveland Browns agreed to terms with their third-round pick wide receiver David Bell on a 4-year, $4.9 million contract, reported by Ian Rappaport. Now, same thing. Now, a later round guy, a rookie in the third round, got his deal. So, same thing with these rookies. And then keeping with it, the Detroit Lions signed their first-round pick in Jameis Williams, and they agreed to a 4-year, fully guaranteed deal, and it includes a 5th-year option, this per Ian Rappaport. Same thing with the Lions. Sticking with them, they signed their third-round pick, safety Kirby Joseph, on his 4-year, $5 million deal, this reported by Ian Rappaport. So a lot of these rookies, I'm going to keep saying it as these come out, but these rookies, they're going to get their deals done. That way they can get on the field, and they don't have to worry about that anymore. But on Thursday, we also had Nick Kwiatkowski sign with the Atlanta Falcons on a 1-year deal, this per Tom Pelissero. So Atlanta adds a veteran linebacker who's going to bring his presence to the team. They lost UC, the local one, so now they're going to bring in Nick Kwiatkowski to kind of replace him and fill that need at the linebacker position. And Thursday night was huge in the NFL. I know during the week we had some news get released, but Thursday was when the schedule got released. We had the schedule released on yesterday. The schedule released on the NFL Network. So I will be doing a video on that on Tuesday, like always, getting uploaded on Wednesday, where I'll be talking about a few key matchups, a few quarterback matchups that I want to look at, a few QB battles, a few wide receiver corner battles, and a few games that I'm really going to keep my eye on, especially those division games. But that'll be coming out later in this week. And then moving on to today, where we had the Houston Texans agree to deals with Derek Stingley on his 4-year, fully guaranteed deal with a 5th-year option, of course. That reported by Ian Rappaport. And his deal is going to be a $34 million deal with a $22 million sign-us bonus. That reported by Tom Pelissero. Then the Saints agreed to their first-round pick, Trevor Penning. They agreed to a 4-year deal with a 5th-year option, per Ian Rappaport. And his contract details were a $14 million deal with a $7 million signing bonus. That per Tom Pelissero. So that is our week in review video. I know it's been a short one, but not too much to go through this week as in past weeks. Aside from the big news of James Bradbury, we had some news about Jerry Jeudy, and then obviously the rookie signings. But the biggest news was the schedule release. But I will be making a separate video for that later on in this week. So if you guys want to check it out, come back on Wednesday and check that video out. As always, this will be uploaded on Sunday this week. Sorry for the delay upload. Had a few troubles with this. But this video will be up on Sunday. And then my next video will be up on Wednesday. As always, you can check out all these designs on the Instagram. I'll leave that here so you guys can go check that out. And then the link will be in the description for the Instagram, for the TikTok. And I will see you guys next time.